this unit is comparatively smaller as compared to unit number 1. And this is what most of the concepts which we understand in general. As an individual human being or as a person born of this earth, there are certain standards, certain ethics, certain values which you are supposed to follow in our day-to-day life. And again, as I mentioned earlier, you already have some session on universal human value, UHV. So this topic, this unit is talking about the same. Work, ethos, and values and effect of values on stakeholders. Now, the moment the word stakeholders comes, you have to remember stakeholders means all the people who have got some or the other interest in the company and some or the other benefit from the company. So, if you get anybody this time already shown. So, we will going sequence wise. So, you will answer this question. Any of these questions you can answer. Why are you doing PGDM? What drives you to pursue PGDM? Or what is the purpose of being a PGDM for you? What it means? What is the value of PGDM? What made you to decide to go for PGDM? Why not MBA? Why not post graduation? The same, if you become people, why did they go for MCOM, BSc? Why did they go for MSc? Why PGDM? Why not something else? Every individual may have different answers. Both. Because that is what connection to the next concept. That's the reason.
After completing my graduation, I was planning for CAT exam for MBA, and I decided I will do PGDM because I want to learn more about management particularly and about HR. I'm very much interested in HR. So after coming here, after listening all the aspects of PGDM, I got very much interested in it. So where I found out that all my possible qualities will improve here after joining.
Anybody else? Or is there this? So every individual, you might not definitely have decided to go for PGDM because somebody else from your class is doing, or maybe somebody else from your graduation is doing. So you might have had your personal reason. Personal, when I say, it's not when we talk about confidentiality of personal things. Personal things for the reason why you want to join, which is in a way not a personal, but your individual reason, what I mean to say. हर एक का अलग-अलग हो सकता है. अगर सेम भी हो तो let me know. Her reason was different. His reason was different. Why PGDM? A simple question, which probably must have been asked you at the time of admission. When the admission officers might have asked. Yeah.
Because it has like a value added and which will enhance our personality in the corporate world. Even if we have that mindset that yes, we want to go in the corporate world and how it will be. So this is the first step in entering the corporate world.
Okay, very good. Yes. Okay, so maybe the market is demanding more management professions today. That will be longer. So finance has got a lot of importance as compared to other specializations. That's what people think. So BCom people will usually go for commerce. Then again there is a lot of demand for marketing, because yesterday itself I mentioned that you cannot have the establishment of your company if you cannot sell your product. So marketing is the most important function for your company to sustain, to exist and to continue. So marketing is another in demand. Finance people are required in all the sectors. Rather, people who specialize in finance are more in demand in manufacturing companies. So finance with engineering background, it is much better. Then operation supply chain is what I would say is a highly super specialized area. So it is recommended only to the students who are either engineers or any of the branches, or maybe somewhere they have done some professional course study. So engineering with operation supply chain is a good combination. There's people with science background with mathematics specifically they should go for analytics. So there is some such kind of a relationship between your graduation and PGD. So based on that relationship, based on what is in vogue in the market, based on what is more required in the market, you will specialize in some PGD. But before you specialize, you will decide why PGD. As some of the answers are, you are likely to get some kind of value add. Then it is going to add, say, kind of additional knowledge which yesterday also I mentioned about it that all other graduate students may not be having the knowledge which you have. And there is a lot of requirement from the industry side. There was a time when the industries were not many. If we say give you the example, there are very handful of industries which were actually recruiting the management students. So if you see, if I give you the example of Pune, there are hardly 300 companies. Companies are many, somewhere thousands of companies are there, but out of that only 300 companies around roughly, they will recruit management students. And if you take the statistics of Pune and Pune University, under Pune University there are around 180 plus MBA colleges, including PGDM. So even if I consider average of 100 people passing out from each institute, 100 into 200, that figure comes to how much? 20,000 or 2 lakhs? 100 into 200? 20,000. So 20,000 management professionals are coming out every year, and there are only 300 companies who recruit management professionals. PGDM figure I have not counted in this. PGDM intake is more in Pune as compared to MBA. So roughly around 50,000 PGDM and MBA students are coming out in Pune only, and in Pune there are only 300 companies who are recruiting PGDM and MBA. So there is a concept which somewhere in the earlier unit number 1 which I missed, which is a very fundamental concept of economics, is demand and supply. So demand is only for 300 companies. If we assume that every company is at maximum recruiting 100 people at maximum, so 30,000 people are required and there are 50,000 people passing on every year. And I'm just giving you an example of one city, one university. In Pune there are 7 universities, and all those, this example which I have given you is the example of only Pune University. So there is Symbiosis University, Developer is about 3 universities, then there is Tilak University, then Amity University also has got the branch there, then ICFA has got the branch there. So according to some figures, Pune is the city at present which has got the highest number of universities in one city at any given point of time. So you can just imagine some 1.5 lakh people are coming out of all these institutions and required is only 30,000. So the concept of demand and supply again explained by Kautilya's Arthashastra, that depending upon the requirement, depending upon the demand, the supply should be there. If there is variation in demand and supply, then there is likely to be price variations. If demand is more and supply is less, you are ready to purchase it any amount of money you want to expend on it because you need it. Exactly in the reverse situation, the demand is less but supply is more, as in this case. Only 30,000 people are required and 1,50,000 people are coming out every year. So what industries will do? I will pay you only 30,000 rupees salary. Are you ready to work? You will say, anyways I am not getting a salary. 30,000 दे रहे तो ठीक है. उतना है तो उतना ही ले लेते. So indirectly, the industries typically in the example which I am giving you, those are trying to exploit the management students, typically the freshers. So there are some companies who will ask you to work for 6 months without any salary. Don't expect any salary, and they will tell you, we'll see your performance in 6 months and then we'll absorb you. After 6 months, they will drive you out. They will give you some target in 6 months time. You are just placed by one number by the target, you are driven out. Because ultimately they want their work to be done as far as possible in the least possible cost. We have discussed about cost reduction. So instead of hiring a person, say marketing executive to whom I am supposed to pay 50,000 rupees per month plus incentive, I will hire junior people like you, college graduates or maybe college pass out the PGDM or MBA, and then I will ask, give you some assignment in 6 months, complete some target. Once the target is over, I will not employ you. Initially they will tell you, will absorb you, they will give you LOI also, letter of intent to absorb you, but then they will show that your performance was not good and then we don't want to absorb you. This is a reality which is happening. I am trying to make you to understand what is the reality outside. Pune, as compared to Pune, Mumbai is much better. There are more industries, more industrial areas are there. So comparatively, placements in institutions in Mumbai are much better. Again, it depends upon the brand of the institution that matters. Deccan Union Society, talking about Ferguson College, is the brand in Pune, which yesterday also I mentioned. So if anybody is passing out of Ferguson College, even if he is a graduate, he is picked up by the industries there. So the institution brand also matters in getting the placement. Some institutions are struggling to give the placements to the students even at the salary of 20,000 rupees per month, whereas some institutions in Pune itself, they are giving minimum 5 lakh, 5.5 lakh rupees, the minimum package, CDC, with the student gets. So there are lot many factors, but then which has got indirectly, if we see the relationship between demand and supply. If there would have been a situation where MBA passing out are very few and there are more companies who want to recruit MBA, they would have given you the package whatever you want. Okay, coming back to the main point of discussion is that why do I want to do PGDM? There has to be some concrete reason available in your brain. Yesterday I told you my own story. When you do not know, when you do not have any aspiration, when you never wanted to become engineer, you are made to become an engineer. So that shouldn't be the case, at least with your generation. So your generation is supposed to be a very thoughtful generation. You can do multitasking. You have got ability to become entrepreneurs more than servant. Many positive characteristics are there with your generation. Negative also equally there as compared to your previous generation. I belong to previous generation. So every generation has got their own positivities and negativities. You have to take more advantage of your positivity. So you people, your generation, in general to all the people applicable, then most of your generation students, people, all the citizens who are born after 1995, they are very much confident in whatever they do. You are multitaskers, then your absorption capacity is very fast. You understand better. Then you are good at handling all electronic gadgets. Then you are good at handling or learning some new kind of a software, new technology, new subject given to you. You are much better in receiving that as compared to earlier and earlier. Negative side, your concentration span of your generation is very less. That is proven to be 8 seconds. 8 seconds. After every second, some other thought will come to your mind, even you are sitting in the class. Then you are getting frustrated very easily. That is another problem with your generation. You get frustration very easily. But the positive side is that you come out of that frustration also very easily. Get frustrated very easily, but then you come out of it also very easily. Another trouble with your generation is that you don't bother relationships. These are all scientifically proven plus minus points of each generation. I am talking about your generation. When I say your generation, all those who are born between 95 to 2010, and all of you belong to the same fraternity. So, considering all the positive and negative points, you have to make it a point that you are trying to take an advantage of all the positive factors which you have. Multitasking is one thing which only your generation has. Earlier generation, if you talk to me, of course I am an exception to my generation, so some of you may be an exception to your generation. It happens. So in my generation, or the people who are belonging to my generation, if they are doing some work and if you go there and ask, sir, ek puchna tha, abhi kyun aaye ho? Don't you see that I am working somewhere? Don't disturb me, go out. Then in your generation it won't happen. If your subordinate comes to you, you are sitting in your cabin, your generation people will not get irritated. Because you can tell to that, okay, chal, theek hai, bol tu, kya bolna hai, main mera kaam kar raha hu. That multitasking you people have, our generation people never had to have that. Individually I have, because I am an exception always. My generation never could understand all these electronic gadgets. So I am the person who have given faculty development program to all the around 600 plus faculty members in Pune University how to use the technology in teaching. Whereas our generation was not good at all in understanding technology. Likewise, there might be somebody of you who is behaving like our generation. So that is what we call exception to the generation. So there are exceptions in all the generation. Most of your generation have got many positive points, so encash it. Negative points we'll see during the course of time how this will be developed. Main decision was why PGDM. Everyone will have got different answer, because I want to make more money could be one of the answers, which is very much apt, correct answer. Because I want to make my name in the field of management could be another option. I have got my family business, I want to continue with it to Could be another option. In my family, nobody has done a business. I want to do it, therefore I have done engineering. Exactly on the opposite side. So reasons could be different. Reasons could be many, and all those reasons are going to be individualistically varying from person to person. In relationship to that, this is the question which comes: why do we work? Then, what drives us to work? Then word I have written by PGDM. What is the driving force which is making you to work? If you can ask to the people who are working, what gives us purpose and meaning in the workplace? So if you are able to answer these questions, then that is what we call the word ethos. Now yesterday I have told you the difference between ethics and ethos. So ethos is, or ethos are rather the rules, regulations, rules of behavior, rules of following certain norms, pluses, minuses, good and bad. When a group of people are deciding, that is what we call it as the ethos. Work ethos means wherever you are working, that company, that organization will have certain defined rules and regulations called as work ethos. So by understanding the concept of work ethos, you will have to find whether your individual ethics with reference to yesterday, difference between ethics and ethos, you have what learned from your childhood days, something which is good, something which is bad, something which you should do, something which you should not do, something which is sin, which is not sin, something which has got pros and cons, something which has got bane and boon. So you have got your own ideologies with you. So when your ideologies are matching with the company ideologies, then only you are likely to stay longer with that organization. And that's what we call it as understanding the word ethos, which are related to your ability to understand the meaning of ethos. I'll give you one example which will make you understand this concept more clear. Now if you see in industries, supposing you have some function in your institute and you want to invite somebody as a chief guest for, let's say, induction, which is one of the biggest functions in any college. It happens at the first day or maybe during the first few days you have been inducted. So wherein the information about the society will be given to you, then JS Kothari business school information will be given, then D society, how many colleges, how many schools, what is the geographical extension, then what is PGDM, what are courses you will be learning, what are values, a lot of things will be given to you. And one day is called as a day of induction, where some chief guests from industry will be coming, then from some senior persons, the vice chancellor of some university will be coming, and those two people will talk to you. Now in this case, if you are inviting some say general manager of some company for induction, now if you go and to invite this person to your institute to come as a chief guest for this induction function, you go to that person. You will have to take an appointment. You cannot go to any GM like that. You just happen to pass by the gate of the company, you went inside, and then you say, GM se milna hai, abhi milna hai. It doesn't happen. You have to call on the landline, you have to take an appointment, then GM will say, okay, I am traveling to Delhi this week, next week I am in Bangalore. You do one thing, you come in the first week of October. Then you will tell him, okay sir, I will come on 5th. He will see in his calendar, sorry, 5th is Dasera, so we are having holiday on that. You come on 6th. He will say again, he will, okay, do one thing. On 6th, I am busy in meeting in the first half, you come in the second half. So it becomes your duty that at 6th of October, you go there after 2:30. Again, you will have to confirm that appointment before you go and meet him. And then you go in the month of October to this general manager, you will tell him that, sir, we are coming from so-and-so school of business, and then we have got an induction function for a batch coming in 23-24. And that induction is planned in August. Next year, August 2023, you are meeting that person in the month of October, because GM is not a person who is free to come anytime when you want him to come. So as I said, he has got all the entire, probably the entire year's calendar filled in which day he is travelling to which country, etc. So you have to tell him the date, you tell him that on 14th of August, we have got an induction between 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. He will simply call his secretary. If his secretary is maintaining all his calendar, or he himself will take out his diary, maybe physical diaries people used to do, now we are using all hands. All my appointments are there in the hands. So he will see in the calendar, he will say, okay, mark. So he will mark in the calendar that on 2 to 5 p.m. on next year, August 23, 14th, he has to be here and take in the society. So you tell him, you will send him formal mail, you will get his card, send him formal mail about the same degree he gets, and then you will remind him, somewhere he will tell you, so you can just come once, maybe somewhere in the month of June or July. I have written in my diary, but still. So you go him in the month of June, and the receptionist will ask you, who is this Mr. Mathur? He said, जनरल मैनेजर भी मिल के गए होंगे. नहीं, उन्होंने तो कब को छोड़ दिया. अभी कौन सी कंपनी में पता नहीं. And the email address which he has given to you, that's an official email address. So you don't have his personal email address as well. Nowadays, some of the general managers will give you their personal numbers and personal email address. But most of the time, for official authenticity, company will give you the official email address, which is usually Outlook for that. Outlook is a software which will maintain the data only limited or confined to that organization. So when you join, what is your name? First name dot surname @desociety.com. So that if you leave, all your data will remain on that email, and the internal people will take the password and you cannot do anything. So you should not take away any data, any confidential information, anything which is not to be shared with somebody else. You will be given an official email ID, and you are you are restricted to use your personal ID. So if you are meeting somebody for official purposes, and if he is giving you a Gmail address, authenticity is a question. So whether he is a very genuine person really, or he might be a fake person. So always ask for the official email address. Coming back to the example that general manager has left the organization, this situation is happening in the management era very common. The top level people are leaving the organizations, changing the job very frequently. That is a typical feature of most of the Indian corporates. Why? Because he is getting a say CTC of somewhere around say 2 crore rupees a year CTC. Another company is ready to give him 2.5 crore rupees a CTC. For that additional 50 lakh rupees, he will change from one company to another company. And this has become a feature in Indian industries called as a sinecures. These people who change the jobs, top level people, those are called as sinecures who keep on changing the jobs very frequently. And a study says that the top level people leave the jobs very frequently as compared to the bottom level. If you know any worker, any supervisor, any engineer working in some manufacturing company, you ask him since when you are working there, he said maybe last 10-12 years. Yesterday I had given you an example of telco. You ask a worker there, he said I joined as an apprenticeship trainee when I was in 10th standard. Now I am running 45. How many years? Around 50 plus 45. 30 years I am here. And he will get retirement from the same company. So lower level people usually don't change the job because probably they don't have competence. बाकी दूसरे कंपनी में जाके क्या करेंगे? वही काम करेंगे जो यहाँ पे करेंगे. But if a general manager of marketing is changing from say financial marketing to some FMCG marketing, he will be doing a different job profile altogether. So that matters, and the company name and the brand name matters. So he wants to work with some top notch name of Fortune 500 companies. I have worked as a general manager marketing. He wants to have that tag in front of his name, so he will be keeping on changing. Point is that people are changing the job very frequently in a company or in a culture like Indian companies. Against that, there is a concept with reference to work ethos and all discussed in the PhD. There is a concept in Japan, what they call it as a lifetime employment. What happens in lifetime employment? What do you think must be the meaning of lifetime employment? क्या मीनिंग होगा उसका? It's a very simple word to understand. एक ही corporate में you get a job at the entry level at a very junior of your age, and then you get the retirement from the same company. This is the culture most of the Japanese companies follow. Means you get the job after your MBA, PGDM, whatever, maybe at the age of 22, 23, 25 max, and then you get the retirement at the age of 60. So you are working with that company for 35 long years. That is a philosophy which most of the Japanese corporate follows, which is called as lifetime employment. And this is possible, and there are cases of lifetime, many cases are there in lifetime employment. Oh, I forgot to put it on Wi-Fi mode. इसको एरोप्लेन मोड में डालना है, सो आई फॉरगॉट दैट.